Would you believe it if I told you that for any odd number, okay, for any odd number in the system, if I take the square of it and divide it by 8, in all the cases, I will get a remainder of 1. If I told you that for all odd numbers in the number system, uh, if I if I divide the square of it by 8, I will always get a remainder of 1. Chances are that you will not. And that is why we will today go on to prove it. So what is the usual expression of an odd number? It is 2m plus 1 or 2n plus 1 or 2n minus 1, right? These are all odd numbers, correct? So let's start with the expression where we say an odd number can be written as 2n plus 1. Let's square the number and see where do we get. It's a square plus b square plus 2ab, which is 4n. This is what we get, right? So eventually we get 4. Raise, yes. So we get 4n square plus n plus 1. Now when we look at this number, we will say it's 4n, and then we will get n plus 1 as common, right? Plus 1. So that's the final product that we get here. Now the question is that when we divide it by 8, are we going to get remainder as 0? Obviously here, this part, the remainder is 1, which means this part needs to be totally divisible. So let's examine this part separately. That part was 4n into n plus 1 divided by 8. Now, what is the divisibility rule of 8? If a number needs to be divided by 8, what should happen, right? Well, this is exactly what should happen. The number should be divisible by 2 and the number should be divisible by 4. If this is happening, the number will be divisible by 8. So what do we get here? We get 4 into n plus 1. Now all of us will agree, all of us will agree that between n and n plus 1, there is one even number. Either n is an even number or n plus 1 is an even number. And if that is the case, say n is an even number, we can write it as 2k into n plus 1. And when you then divide it by 8, you see that it gets completely divisible. Therefore, we go on to prove that all the odd numbers of the form 2n plus 1, when squared and divided by 8, they always leave 1 as a remainder. Okay. Now you might argue that what if the odd number is written in the shape of 2n minus 1? Let's also square it and see. 4n square, yeah, plus 1. And minus, right? Minus 4n. So that is the number that we get. Then we get 4n square minus n plus 1. And then we further get 4n n minus 1 plus 1. So eventually, once again, we go to the same place. N and n minus 1, they are consecutive numbers. So one of them's got to be even. And therefore, we can then, one of them can be written as 2 into k. Therefore, 4 into 2, this part will be divisible by 8 and it will always leave 1 as a ring. So it was a simple yet interesting thing. Look, that's what happens with numbers. Sometimes you need to be observant with numbers. If you are not observant with numbers, you will continue to miss many patterns. And in your head, you can think stuff like, okay, 3 is an odd number, 3 square 9. Yeah, true. When I divide it by 8, 1 is, I get 1 as remainder. Next odd number is 5. So 5 into 5 is 25. Again, 1 remainder if we divide it by 8. 7 is 49 once again. But how can we know for sure. That level of inquisitiveness should be there. So whenever you read something, always try to challenge and always try to think that why it is happening. Try to visualize it also sometimes. I will also try to bring in the visualizations of all these interesting things that we are learning about numbers, but in another video, not in this one. If you liked it, please keep coming back for such interesting content. And once again, thank you for watching.